Good morning, class. I'm your science teacher for today, and our topic is all about female reproductive system. But before we start, let's recall what did you learn during the previous lesson about male reproductive system? You can write a word or phrases you still remember from that particular topic. For example, um, scrotum. Our learning objectives is at the end of our topic, students are able to name the organs of the female reproductive system and describe their structure. Second, describe the anatomy and history of the ovaries. Third, discuss the development of the oocyte and the follicle, ovulation and fertilization process. Fourth, describe the changes that occur in females during puberty and changes in the ovary and uterus that occur during the menstrual cycle. And last, list down the hormones of the female reproductive system and explain how their secretion is regulated. So our topic for today is about female reproductive system. And by the way, I'm Victorina M. Carpio from BS Ed 2A. Our content. Female reproductive system. Second, physiology of female reproduction. Third, major reproductive hormones in females. Figure 1, the female reproductive organs. Figure 2, the main ligaments supporting the uterus. Figure 3, ooxygenesis. Figure 4, stages of folliculogenesis. Figure 5, menstrual cycle. And last, the anatomy of the breast. Here's our warm-up activity. So in your own words or understanding, define what a female reproductive system is all about. But take note, be honest while you're answering this question. Searching is not allowed in this portion. The third is feel free to share your insights, thoughts, or ideas. And lastly, there's no wrong or incorrect answer. What you say will be accepted because this activity serves as your self-awareness regarding to the topic that I'm going to discuss later. So our activity, focus and search me. So you may highlight and list all words that you will find out or encounter in your MN FRS puzzle. So our clues is it is the combination of male and female reproductive system. For example, oviduct. So, what is female reproductive system? Ano nga ba yung female reproductive system na to? So, yung female reproductive system is nahahati sa dalawa. Merong external and internal genitalia. So, the female reproductive system includes external and internal genitalia. That vulva and its structures form the external genitalia. The internal genitalia include a three-part system of ducts, the uterine tubes, the uterus, and the vagina. So this system of ducts connects to the ovaries, the primary reproductive organs. The ovaries produce eggs and release them for fertilization. So fertilized eggs develop inside the uterus. So sa uterus daw nade-develop yung mga eggs. And here's our figure number 1. So the female reproductive system. So, as you can see, the female reproductive organs or genitalia include both external and internal organs. So, makikita nyo dyan yung lahat ng parts ng female reproductive system. So, we have first external genitalia. So, pag-usapan natin yung external genitalia na to. The external genitalia are known collectively as the vulva. and consists of the labia majora and labia minora, the clitoris, the vaginal orifice, the vestibule, the hymen, and the vestibular glands or Bartholin's glands kung tawagin. So the functions of external female reproductive structure or the genitals is twofold: to enable sperm to enter the body and to protect the internal genitalia organs from infectious organisms. So the main external structures of the female reproductive system includes the labia majora. So the labia majora enclose and protect the other external reproductive organs. The second one is labia majora or inner labia. So ito yung small lips. The labia minora can be very small or up to 2 inches wide. They lie just inside the labia majora and surround the openings to the vagina. So the canal that joins the lower part of the uterus to the outside of your body. And the third one is clitoris. So clitoris, so the two labia minora meet at the clitoris, a small sensitive protrusion that is comparable to the penis in males. So the clitoris is covered by a fold of skin called the pubis, which is similar to the foreskin of at the end of the penis. Like the penis, the clitoris is very sensitive to stimulation and can become erect. The fourth one is Bartholin glands. So these glands are located beside the vaginal opening and produce a fluid, mucus secretion. So kung mapapansin nyo, nandun siya sa bandang itaas ng mons pubis. And let's talk about internal genitalia. So kung yung external genitalia, ito yung may mga parts ng clitoris, labia majora, labia minora, Bartholin's glands. Ang internal genitalia naman, ito yung reproductive system lies in the pelvic cavity and consists of the vagina. Uses 2 uterine tubes and 2 ovaries. So, internal sex organs, so nandyan yung uterus, fallopian tubes, cervix, ovaries, and vagina. So, vagina is a canal that joins the cervix, the lower of a uterus, to the outside of the body. It's also is known as the birth canal. So, ito yung dinadaanan ng baby kapag yung isang magulang is nanganganak. So, dito mismo ilalabas yung baby sa loob ng vagina. And then, nagwa-wild siya or nag-stretch. And the uterus, or kung tawagin is womb. So, is a hollow, pear-shaped organ that is the hormone to a developing fetus. So, the uterus is divided into 2 parts. The cervix, which is the lower part that opens in the vagina, and the main body developing and the uterus called the corpus. So, the corpus can easily expand the whole developing baby. A channel through the cervix allows sperm to enter and menstrual blood to exist. So, structures. So, the walls of the uterus are composed of 3 layers of tissues. We have perimetrium, myometrium, and endometrium. So, let's go back to figure number 2. So, figure number 2, the main ligament supporting the uterus. So, kung mapapansin nyo, may image dyan na sobrang daming parts. So, the uterus is supported in the pelvic cavity by surrounding organs, muscles of the pelvic floor or ligaments that suspend and form the walls of the pelvis. So, madami yan. Merong broad ligaments, round ligaments, uterosacral ligaments, transverse cervical or cardinal ligaments, and uterine tubes. So, these are narrow tubes that are attached to the upper part of the uterus and serve as the tunnel for the ova or egg cell. So, to travel from the ovaries to the uterus, conception that fertilization of an egg by sperm normally occurs in the fallopian tubes. So, dito pala dumadaan yung eggs or yung ova. So, the fertilized egg then moves to the uterus where it implants into the lining of the uterine wall. So, pagkatapos dumaan nung ova or nung egg cell dun mismo sa fallopian tube, so manggagaling naman siya dun sa uterus, na kung saan yung uterus na yon, yun yung pinakabahay bata. And dun titira yung baby. Dun siya kumakain. Yan. So, the fallopian tube has 4 parts, lateral to medial. So, including preimbii. So, finger-like structure, at the end of the fallopian tube that capture the ovum from the surface of the ovary. The second one is infundibulum, a funnel shape opening near the ovary to which the preimbii are attached. Excuse me. So, dito pala, yung infundibulum, so dito pala naka-attach yung, sa ano siya naka-attach? Sa preimbii. So, the third one is ampulla. So, the wildest section of the uterine tubes in which fertilization typical occurs. So, eto na yung, dito na nagaganap yung fertilization. So, last, it's mousse, a narrow section of the uterine tubes that connects to the ampulla to the uterine cavity. So, here's the functions of uterine tubes. So, propel the ovum from the ovary to the uterus by peristalsis, and ciliary movement, the secretion of the uterine tube, nourish both ovum and spermatozoa. Fertilization of the ovum usually takes place in the uterine tubes, and the zygote is propelled into the uterus for implantation. So, we have activity regarding to the topic that I mentioned earlier. So, yung activity natin is, tinawag ko tong label your reproductive system. So, this activity tests your vocabulary and for you to be familiarized in all parts of male and female reproductive system. So, kung mapapansin nyo, may mga parts dyan. May mga label na kailangan mong bigyan or kailangan mong i-label sila ng isa-isa. So, for example, vagina. So, saan kaya siya nabibilang? So, kung mapapansin natin, yung vagina, mapapansin siya doon sa parts ng babae. So, fertilization. So, the fallopian tubes play an active part in the process of fertilization. Just before ovulation, smooth muscles tissue in the preimbii responds to the female sex organs changing level and begins to produce slow. The ovaries are small. So, oval-shaped glands that are located on either side of the uterus. The ovaries produce eggs and hormones. So, ito yung sa ovary, nandun yung mga egg cell or yung ova na tinatawag. So, structure. So, the ovaries have two layers of tissue. First one is medulla. The second is cortex. So, the ovarian cycle. The ovarian cycle is a set of predictable changes in a female's oocytes and ovarian follicles. So, let's talk about the figure 3, oogenesis. So, ano nga ba yung oogenesis na to? So, oogenesis, which refers to the production of female gametes, and folliculogenesis, or the process of the growth and development of ovarian follicles. So, yung oogenesis daw, ito yung production ng female gametes natin, yung egg cell. And folliculogenesis of the process of the growth and development of ovarian follicle, nandito na yung pag-grow. So, here's our table number 1. So, major reproductive hormones in female. So, yan. So, major reproductive hormones in female. So, first we have gonadotropin releasing hormones, or GnRH. The second is luteinizing hormones, or LH. The third one is follicle stimulating hormones. The fourth one is estrogen. Fifth, progesterone. 6, oxytocin. And lastly, human chorionic gonadotropin. So, sila yung mga major reproductive organs sa mga babae. Ng mga babae. So, let's going back to figure 4. So, figure 4 are stages of folliculogenesis. So, nandito yung process. So, puberty in the female. So, puberty is the age at which the external reproductive organs reach maturity, usually between the age 12 and 14 years old. So, ito na yung padalaga na. Tayong mga babae, dumadaan tayo sa mga prosesong nagkakaregla or menstruation, nag-grow yung breast natin. And may changes kung baga physically. Our chest or yung breast, ayan, lumalaki siya and nag-grow, still nag-grow. Even yung hair natin sa baba, nagkakaroon tayo ng pubic hair. And nagkakaroon siya talaga ng changes kapag dumaan tayo sa stage na nagdadalaga na. So, here's our table 2. So, events during the menstrual cycle. So, ayun. Yung figure 5 natin is menstrual cycle. Ito na yung process kung paano ka rereglahin and saan siya nagsisimula. Ganun. So, allow me to read the definition of menstrual cycle. Menstrual cycle refers to the series of changes that occur in sexual mature, so non-pregnant males, and that culminate in menses. So, menses is a period of mild hemorrhage during which part of the endometrium is slashed and is expelled from the uterus. So, typically, the menstrual cycle is about 28 days long, although it can be as short as 18 days or as long as 40 days. The menstrual cycle results from the cyclical changes that occur in the endometrium of the uterus. So, sa endometrium pala siya nagsisimula. Ayun. So, dun siya nangyayari. Nagkakaroon doon ng process sa endometrium ng uterus. So, di ba, tayong mga babae, kapag tayo nire-regla is, merong regular, merong irregular naman, na hindi masyadong madugo. Or, hindi masyadong malakas yung regla nila. Kasi nga, irregular sila. Meron namang mga babae na normal na tumatagal ng 1 week. Ayun, pag dumadaan sila sa sa process ng menstrual cycle. So, ayun. Our last figure number 6 is the anatomy of the breast. So, yun. The anatomy of the breast or the mammary gland are accessory glands of the female reproductive system. They exist also in male, but only a rudimentary form. So, yung breast, alam naman natin na kapag nagbubuntis yung isang magulang or yung babae, nagkakaroon siya ng lumalaki. And dahil yun sa may gatas dun sa loob ng breast na yun. And then, may tinatawag tayong lactation ayun. So, lumalaki siya and then yun yung ginagamit. And nagsisilbing pagkain ng baby na bagong silang pa lang. So that's end our topic about female reproductive system. So let's do this. So enjoy while learning. So I have prepared some activities that will help you to know more about female reproductive system. And first, we have application. That's our application is enjoy while learning. So, di ba tayo minsan kapag nasa school or virtual man, kailangan pa din nating magbigay ng mga activities na alam nating may engganyo yung bata or magiging active para mag-participate. So, second activity is naming photos activity. So, in this activity, you may choose the words that correspond in the following pictures. So, we have internal, external of genesis, stages of folliculogenesis, the anatomy of the breast, and menstrual cycle. So, yan yung mga pagpipilian. And then, may ipapakita ko sa inyong mga pictures. So, the first one is, for example, do you think is it external or internal? So, here's our summary of our topic about female reproductive system. Kung mapapansin nyo, nandyan na yung mga yung menstrual cycle, yung internal genitalia and external genitalia, yung fertilization, the breast, the anatomy of the breast, and so on. So, self-check. So, do you learn something today? So, you may now rate yourself based on your learning experiences. And our reflection is, how is it important to you taking care of your own reproductive system? So, our instruction is, you may draw or write your answer in a short bond paper. For girls, female reproductive system, and for boys, male reproductive system. So I also prepared a post test. So this post test have 3 parts. Set A, write E if the following words are part of the external, and write I if it is internal. Labia majora, vagina, Bartholin glands, uterus, labia minora, and clitoris. So our set B is you may continue the following statement, but make sure your spelling is correct. So number 1, for example, GNRH stands for and set C is match column A to column B. So for example, uterus. So ano kaya yung ibang tawag sa uterus? So here's our references. And that's all for today. Thank you for watching and listening. And God bless. So I hope you learned something today. Thank you.